Ever wondered what that little hole at the top of your sink is for? There can be 1, 2, or 3 of them, depending on the design. These holes may appear under the near rim facing the mirror. They may face forward if they're between the faucet valves. The holes are there to prevent an overflow and to allow air in the drain to circulate. If the hole wasn't there, a basin filled with water would drain slowly because of the resistance it puts on the air going out of the drain. Your bathtub also has this hole, but the kitchen sink doesn't. A bathtub takes longer to fill, so you may get distracted, walk away, and forget you're filling the tub, so it's kind of more necessary there. The kitchen sink has overflow protection in the shape of the divider between the 2 standard basins, and this divisor rises lower than the rim. The majority of hiking backpacks have a secret feature that can literally save your life. If you have one, take a closer look at its chest strap. You'll see there's a built-in whistle on its buckle. It's for situations where you're all alone, stuck somewhere while hiking, or you were in a group but eventually separated from them. Uh-oh. Not all backpacks have a whistle, but those modern ones, designed specifically for mountain biking, hiking, snowboarding, skiing, and other similar outdoor activities do. Now, speaking of backpacks, many brands have standard models that come with a patch sewn into the outer part in the shape of a diamond. We call this the lash tab, or as some say, pig snouts. Originally, the manufacturers came up with this feature so people could carry an ice axe during mountaineering. They made it from leather because they wanted to reduce the possibility of freezing. Of course, the average backpacker doesn't go on such adventures, but the patch is still useful because you can hold and immediately access some items like headphones or a bottle of water, or tie your hiking shoes and some other essential things so you have more room inside your backpack. So, why do shopping carts have a grid system instead of being solid? There could be a couple of reasons for that. Manufacturers use less metal, so a cart is both lighter and cheaper. Also, the supermarket staff can see what's in your cart more easily. It's easier to keep the cart clean this way, too. Imagine if it was sealed and somebody spilled orange juice or milk inside of it. It's easier for a cart to drain this way if it's outside in the rain. Speaking of holes, why do you think laundry baskets often have holes? It's for the laundry inside to breathe. If you use it for dirty laundry, it's harder to vent the sealed basket and prevent your laundry from mildewing. Also, baskets without vents harbor way more static electricity. Have you noticed there's a funky little loop on your ski glove? Yup, the one on the finger. These gloves are specifically made for snowboarding, skiing, or some other alpine uses. Because of the loops on the finger, you can hang your gloves on the pack using a carabiner. Face their opening down, and gloves won't fill with any debris or snow while you're hiking or participating in some other winter activities, like falling and rolling down the hill, like what I tend to do. Now, even if you're not a professional alpine climber or something like that, it can still be good for you to use so-called carabiner clasps. With them, you can dry the gloves with the fingers upward. That way, if there's any condensation, it won't pull in the fingers but roll out the bottom. You know those silica gel packets that come with new bags, shoes, and many other products? Think twice before you throw them away. You might want to keep them because they preserve the freshness of your shoes or some other product you got them with. These bags are like a drying agent since they drive the moisture out of their surroundings. You can use them for other things, like, for instance, when you need to dry out your phone or something else that got water in the wrong place. Now, when dealing with a stapler, you can accidentally staple pages you didn't really want to put together. It's not easy to remove them unless you use a simple trick. Pay attention to the front part of your stapler. See that metal plate over there? It's called the anvil. Turn your stapler upside down. This way, you can spin the wheel to the temporary staple option, so it won't be so hard to remove the pins. Yup, the anvil is there, so you can adjust the settings for the stapler. Now, we're so used to toothpaste being multicolored that we mostly don't even wonder why it's so. Well, back in the 1970s, people became more aware of how important dental hygiene is. They wanted their toothpaste to do more than simply clean their teeth. That's why Aquafresh was the first company that came up with a toothpaste that had ingredients for mouthwash too, which is the blue stripe. Later on, they added red, which represents ingredients that help you take care of your gums. Aluminum foil boxes have a feature we can truly call hidden. It's not like anyone bothers to take a close look at the side of the box, right? There are rounded perforations you can punch through with your fingers. Just press your finger into the resulting hole and hold it. That's how you secure the cardboard roll while pulling out a foil. Beanie pom-poms look like a cute, or ugly if you're not a fan, ball on the top of your hat. It may not have a specific purpose today, but it hasn't always been a fashion detail. One of the possible explanations says that beanies are something the Vikings invented because they were looking for a way to keep their ears warm throughout the long cold winters. After some time, they added pom-poms at the top too. They were supposed to prevent the seams from coming apart. Now, I'm guessing the traditional horns were added sometime after that. You can find a tomato pin cushion for pins and needles in many households. But check this strawberry dangling from the top. It's kind of weird considering this fruit doesn't grow on tomatoes. But in this context, strawberries are there for needles you're using at the moment so you don't get lost while searching through a bunch of other needles on a cushion. Take a look at the cap on top of your toothpaste tube or a cream. This pointed cone you see inside the cap is helpful when you're opening a new tube because you can use it to puncture the seal. Yup, no need to look for something sharp or use your nails. Is there a pattern of blue and white bristles on your toothbrush? Sure, it looks a bit more stylish like this, but this feature has an actual purpose. Manufacturers designed the blue dye to wear off. This mostly happens at the same time when you're supposed to be getting a new toothbrush. They recommend doing it every 3 to 4 months, but in case you forget, it can be a handy reminder. Many cars have black dots along the window edges. It's a cool design, true, but car manufacturers probably wouldn't spend so much of their money and time adding something that didn't have a practical use. These dots are something we call Fritz, which are different than Fritz, the German guy. When the temperature in your car reaches extreme fluctuations, the Fritz are there to make sure the rim of the glass doesn't shatter. Good idea. Gas cans have a very small second hole. It's there to prevent some sort of the glug that occurs when air gets sucked into the hole as you pour the liquid out of it. Because when something like this happens, the flow of liquid is not even, which means more of it will end up all over the floor. The hole is also there to help vent the gas and prevent the can from bursting in between uses, and that's a good idea too.
The Queen's Guard all appear to have the same uniform, with a shared role of standing stoically for a long time. But if you look closely at their hats, there are 5 different types. The Grenadier has a white plume, the Coldstream has a red one, the Irish a blue plume, the Welsh green and white, and the Scots Guard has none. Their different divisions perform similar ceremonial duties at Buckingham Palace. But they have other actual roles as well, suited to their specialization. When peeling your boiled eggs, you can see a hidden layer under the shell. These 2 membranes, an inner and outer one, are made from the same stuff as your hair, keratin. It protects the inside from bacteria and stops liquids from escaping. You use X in your text, which represents a kiss. It's been used this way for a very long time. Its original purpose dates back to the Middle Ages, where it was a representation of a person's faith, honesty, and sincerity. Those that would sign off with an X would kiss it after signing as a display of a sworn oath. The X's meaning later changed to represent the action of kissing. And the first document showing this was a letter dating back to 1763, written by a naturalist, Gilbert White, who sent it to his wife. William Shakespeare is a name familiar to everyone. However, we don't know whether this was the actual way his name was spelled, and neither did he. He signed 80 different variations of his name spelling on all his works. Historians haven't a clue which the correct spelling is. The version that we know of was only used on 2 of his plays. Different forms of alarm clocks were invented as far back as 348 BCE, with many versions throughout the world, all with complicated mechanics. Unaffordable to mostly everyone, they didn't catch on. Alternate methods to wake up in the morning started to be used in the 1800s. One process involving knocker-uppers was common in some countries. A person visited your house every morning to knock on your door 4 times. Inventor Antoine Redier felt that he should be woken only when he felt it necessary. So, in 1847, he invented the first adjustable alarm clock. Tennis balls in Wimbledon must be kept at a perfect temperature to ensure they bounce at a consistent level. They're stored at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, so they're cold enough that the molecules inside the ball shrink, ensuring they bounce lower. Then, they're continuously swapped throughout a match as they expand by being hit too much, becoming too bouncy. Wimbledon goes through 50,000 tennis balls each year. You enjoy the smell of a freshly mowed lawn, as you associate it with the weekends and summer. But that smell is a sign of stress made by the grass. Grass evolved to emit various elements when being eaten by bugs. This signal attracts predator insects to remove them. But unfortunately for the grass, there's nothing large enough to deter a lawnmower. There is no oxygen inside your packet of chips. If there was, it would influence the combination of molecules forming inside, spoiling the chips faster. The packets are instead filled with nitrogen, which pushes oxygen out. And this extends the shelf life and quality of your chips. You're traveling by plane overnight and just can't get to sleep. And the first night in a hotel wasn't great, regardless of how comfy the bed was. This is because of a human evolutionary trait called the first night effect. When you sleep in a different place than your home, the left side of the brain responds to more sounds while you're asleep. It continues to analyze your surroundings without you realizing, acting as though it's on a night watch and keeping you alert for any potential dangers. Most animals have this trait, although it's a lot more subtle in humans. But it's still effective enough to make sure you get your peanuts. Before playing basketball with hoops, you would have instead been playing with peach baskets. When the game was invented in 1891, a peach basket was used, with the bottom of it cut off. But it only took 15 years for players to grow tired of constantly collecting the jammed balls and to remove the basket altogether. When you click your fingers, the snapping sound isn't from the physical click of finger and thumb. The noise actually comes from the finger hitting the palm. The instant film for the first Polaroid cameras didn't have their own coating after taking a photo. To develop it, you applied it yourself. Waiting for it to dry took a long time, so shaking it sped up the process. Then, from the 1970s, the film provided everything required for the photo to develop, making the popular craze of shaking Polaroids pointless. Shaking the photo can cause the ink to wave or blur before drying properly, so you shouldn't actually shake it like a Polaroid picture, and just wait patiently instead. Bug spray doesn't repel all bugs, especially the worst of them all, mosquitoes. It does cover the scent of carbon dioxide, which is what attracts mosquitoes, but the spray only protects you for a short distance. Mosquitoes can also track carbon dioxide over long distances. They will continue to stalk you until they find a gap in your invisible bug shield. A great alternative is lavender, which contains linalool. This fragrance completely overloads the mosquito's senses, making it unable to track you. The half belt on the back of some jackets appear like a fashion accessory. It was initially designed that way for larger jackets, as they could also be used as a blanket to wrap around oneself. The belt's position helps hold the material together, so it's easier to walk with whilst keeping you warm. Ketchup wasn't originally intended to be your favorite condiment. In 1834, a physician, John Cook, sold ketchup as a cure for indigestion. It was an immediate hit, and today, 10 billion ounces are purchased annually in the USA, although not as the intended medicine. Thomas Edison made over 1,000 inventions, and one in particular, the light bulb, is most famously linked to him. However, he didn't actually invent it. Warren de la Rue, a British chemist, had solved this scientific challenge 40 years earlier. There were also 20 other inventors who made alternate versions before Edison did. But earlier varieties relied on cotton thread and only lasted up to 14 hours. Edison, in 1880, used a carbonized bamboo thread instead, and his worked up to 1,200 hours. It became the most commercially viable light bulb, and today's ones are similarly shaped to Edison's original. The first treadmill was used in England in 1818. It was a large wooden cylinder with a handrail, although it wasn't used to keep fit. Convicted criminals would be forced to use these for up to 10 hours per day as a punishment. The energy output potential was realized, and soon it was built to work with water pumps and grain grinders. It was so effective that it was used in all prisons throughout the country. But in 1902, it was decided that it was too harsh and stopped. And now, this cruel punishment is mainly found in gyms. During the 1940s, there was a shortage of cocoa, and it was important to find a solution to this problem. A production company found a way by mixing only a small amount of cocoa with hazelnuts and milk, and the original Nutella was created. It started out as a loaf spread, like a stick of butter. It then transformed into a creamier version inside a jar in 1951. But it wasn't until 1964 that it was given its famous name. Your passport might be a dark shade of either green, blue, or red. The darker color not only makes them appear more official, but is intended so that through its journeys, the dirt that's collected is more easily hidden. Wasabi was first used back in the 8th century. It wasn't meant as a spicy condiment as it's served with sushi today. Initially, it was used for its antimicrobial properties that help avoid the harmful reactions to fish with sushi that's a bit too old.
Can you believe it? There are two different ways to drink juice from a juice box. The first way is the default one, and the second is the flip the straw over so that its shorter side sits at the bottom of the box. Using the first method, you may have difficulty getting the last sips of liquid because the straw can't reach all the corners properly. Some straws have their bottom corner sharper than the top. It's deliberately designed that way to pierce through the seal. That's why some people believe the right way to drink juice is the conventional one. Now let's continue with straws. Do you know there's a correct way to use a straw while drinking from a can of soda? So, you're about to have some Coke. You pop the tab open, then you put a straw in the can. Now you need to make a constant effort to keep the straw steady. See this hole in the top? Yeah! Turn the pop tab around and put your straw through the hole. It'll serve as a straw holder. No need to be annoyed by the tipping straw. So, what's the best way to eat a cupcake? Turn it into a sandwich. Step 1. Peel off the paper wrapped around the cupcake. Step 2. Carefully divide the cake into 2 parts. Step 3. Put the bottom side of the cupcake on top of the frosting. This is how you eat a cupcake like a pro. Okay, another quick word about cakes. People generally use kitchen knives to cut cakes into 2 parts. But you can use dental floss. Take a piece of floss and wrap it around the cake horizontally. Hold the ends tight with both hands and pull them in opposite directions. There you go! Now you have an evenly cut cake. Smooth, huh? You can use floss to cut through a cake vertically, too. This way, you'll reduce the chance of messing up the frosting. Do you use your fingers to dip your Oreos in milk? Try using a fork. Stick it between the wafers vertically and dip the cookie in milk. Well, you try it. I'm sticking with my fingers. Been doing it all my life. Hey, call me a rebel. You put your food in the microwave. The plate is hot and the upper part of the dish is steaming. You start eating. Oh no, not again. Your meal hasn't heated evenly. If you want your dish to be equally warm, arrange it in a donut shape and leave an empty spot in the center. The middle part of your dish takes longer to heat up. By the time the center warms up, the edges might be overheated. Sometimes you need to microwave 2 bowls of food at the same time. In this case, you can try placing the second bowl on top of a cup. This will give you a free space for the second bowl. Creative solutions for small microwaves. Now, better to secure the cup first though. Cleaning the splashed food will take more time than using this method. To save space, you should roll your clothes instead of folding them when packing. They don't get creased when you roll them. Plus, they take less space this way. Okay, we might as well continue with another packing trick. After rolling your clothes, pack them in your suitcase vertically, not horizontally. Your clothes will fit better into the bag, and you'll have more room for other essential stuff. Drinking iced coffee is a great way to cool your body on a summer day. Sadly, the ice cubes start to dilute the coffee pretty soon, changing the taste of the drink. To avoid this, you can freeze some coffee into ice cubes beforehand. This way, your iced coffee won't get watered down. It turns out that taking a shower too often isn't good for your hair. Experts say you should wash your hair 2 to 3 times a week because overwashing can result in extra oil in your hair. Do you know there's a correct way to fit salami on a toast properly? Yeah, there's a geometry problem. Toast bread is square, but salami is mostly round. You can, of course, do it in a traditional way, by putting 2 slices next to each other. But then the edges of your sandwich won't have any filling. All you need to do is to cut the slices in half. Next, you line the straight pieces with the sides of the toast. You get 4 slices covering the entire piece of bread. Most people peel bananas starting from the top, but this way you squeeze the fruit. The best way to peel a banana is to start from the bottom. Hey, take a closer look at monkeys. Apparently, they figured this out a long time ago. Do you want to have more space in the closet where you store your cleaning supplies? Then this one is for you. You can hang spray bottles on a clothing rod. It's convenient. You can find those rods online or in stores. This way, you'll keep your cleaning sprays organized. Also, this method leaves more cupboard space for other cleaning supplies. There's a right way to hold a burger. Grab it with both hands. Now, place your little fingers at the bottom next to your thumb for extra support. You want to cross out miswritten words? You can draw a line on top of them, but in most cases, you can still read the words. Instead of scribbling some lines, just write a bunch of random letters on the top of the word you want to cross out. Problem solved. What is the best way to cut crusty bread? By turning the loaf upside down. The underside of the bread is usually softer than the top, but try not to squeeze the bread too much. The traditional way to drain pasta is to place the colander in the sink. After that, you drain the water and put your pasta back in the pan. But this method isn't the most effective. Sometimes, pasta gets into the holes of the colander. The second option is less difficult. Place the colander into the pot, and while holding them together, drain the water. This way, you don't have to move your pasta from the pot. This trick works best if your colander fits your pot. If you don't want to buy several colanders, you can still use this method, but you should be more careful during the draining process. Now, does your freezer ever spoil food? You put ready meals and groceries in the freezer. 2 weeks later, you'll open it only to find your food freezer burnt. There are 2 reasons for this. First, you stock your freezer with too much stuff. Overloading can block the vent. Then the air inside the freezer won't circulate properly. The second reason might be the wrong temperature. The recommended freezer temperature is 0 degrees Fahrenheit or a bit lower. Now, what's the best way to hold a steering wheel? Most people clutch it at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. This is not very safe, even if you have 3 arms. For those of us with just 2 arms, the proper way to grab the wheel is to put one hand at 3 o'clock and the other at 9 o'clock. It means placing your hands where the joints are, in case you need to give way to airbags. Holding the wheel differently prevents them from fully inflating. Toblerone is a fancy chocolate bar, but did you know there's a correct technique to break off pieces of this chocolate? Just push the triangle you want to separate toward the rest of the bar. Who would have thought? Pringles are another hard-to-eat but delicious thing. While trying to dig a piece out of the can, don't shove your whole hand in there. Instead, use a sheet of paper. Fold it lengthwise and slide it into the can. Then gently pull it out, together with Pringles. Now you have a tray of crispy goodness.
Pockets are usually on the left side of shirts because most people are right-handed. Is this a myth or a fact? This is actually true. Many products favor the righties. Left-handed people will relate to this on so many levels. Let's say public transport. Have you ever noticed that the scanner at stations is typically on the right side? Household equipment and devices are one more example. Scissors, tweezers, bottle openers, and many other kitchen and household appliances are designed with right-handed people in mind. The same goes for shirt pockets. While some people use both hands equally and others change their hand preference between tasks, overall, most people are right-handed. A study has revealed that 75% to 90% of the world's population are right-handed and 10% are left-handed. This means it's more convenient for most people to have pockets on the left side than on the right side of their garments. Try it out for yourself. Your elbow kind of folds when you try to reach into the pocket on the right side. Whereas on the left side, your elbow makes an arc shape, which makes it easier to put things inside the pocket and take them out. Eating more protein leads to having bigger muscles. What do you think about this, bodybuilders? Myth or fact? This is a myth. It's true that eating protein is essential for building bigger muscles. Proteins are building blocks of your body, and yet, eating more than you need is unnecessary. Everyone should drink 8 glasses of water a day. Do you think this is a myth or a fact? This is a myth, so don't blame yourself for drinking less water than recommended. 8 glasses are not a magic number. Hydration needs differ from one person to another. How much water you should drink every day depends on your activity and exercise level. The temperature of the place where you live affects this number too. If you live in a hot area, you sweat more and need to drink more water. Soup, coffee, tea, fruits, and other things you eat daily also contain water. Carrots are high in sugar, so you should avoid eating them. If this is true, we should warn bunnies. Any guesses? Fact or myth? It's a myth. Carrots are about 85% water. 1 pound of cooked carrots only contains 3 teaspoons of sugar. Compared to the amount of sugar in desserts, this is nothing. Plus, carrots are high in phytochemicals, and eating them can help lower blood sugar. Medieval people believed in flat Earth. Is this a myth or a fact? Obviously, flat Earth is a myth. But so is the history built around this myth. You can't say that at those times. The whole world was skeptical about Earth's spherical shape. Even everyday visible things proved that. For example, medieval people could see that the twilight glow during sunrise and sunset formed an arc over the horizon. Vikings wore horned helmets. Is this a myth or fact? The well-known image of a Viking warrior is almost always completed with a horned helmet, but in reality, there were no horns. There's no evidence that Viking helmets were horned. Detox juices cleanse your body. Is this a fact or myth? It's a myth. Detoxification doesn't work that way. Your internal organs are responsible for the process of cleansing: the spleen, liver, kidneys, especially the liver. Your body is always in a natural state of cleansing itself. A person doesn't need to drink juices for detoxification. Nuts are junk food. Any thoughts? Myth or fact? You're right, this is a myth. Nuts are full of healthy fats. They're good for your heart and other organs. The average American throws away about 82 pounds of textile waste per year. Is this a fact or myth? Fact! Imagine all that waste. When someone throws their clothes away, they don't disappear into thin air. These items most likely reach landfills as their final destination. Donating clothes and selling them in second-hand stores are a much better option. Now, you've probably heard about life-saving laundry tricks that are said to make your clothes super clean and as good as they were on day 1. What if those laundry tips are actually myths? I got 3 of them lined up for you. Shirts should be buttoned when you put them in the laundry. Is it true or not? This is a myth. You'd better keep zippers closed to keep their teeth from catching the fabric of other clothes. But fastening the buttons of a shirt can expand the button net and the buttonhole. In the long term, buttons will start slipping out of place. Washing clothes in hot water is the most effective way to clean them. Is this a myth or fact? That's another laundry myth. You want to rid your clothes of germs, yet hot water alone won't be enough for this. Nowadays, many detergents can clean clothes in cold or warm water. You should remove stains from the face of the fabric. Is it true? Most people apply water and soap to the stain, starting from the front side of the fabric, but that's not the best option. A much better way is to start from the back. The stain can go deeper if you treat it from the front. Try to make the stain move up to the surface rather than push it inside. Listening to music is an effective tool for learning languages. Is it a myth or fact? It's a fact. Scientists say listening to a song and humming along can help you learn a language. Most people struggle to learn grammar, yet in our daily lives, we don't always follow grammar rules. Songs can help you pick up informal expressions. Scientists have also concluded that music can help you remember new words and add them to your vocabulary. Let me give you an example. It's from your first year at school. Yep, the alphabet song. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Either way, you might want to know these facts and myths about sleep. The longest someone went without sleep was 11 days. Do you think this is possible, or is it an urban legend? This is a fact. Randy Gardner set the record for the longest amount of time a person went without sleep. It was an experiment carried out by Stanford sleep researcher Dr. William C. Dement. The doctor recorded and monitored Randy Gardner's sleep activity. Gardner managed to stay awake for 11 days and 25 minutes. Your body eventually gets used to getting less sleep. Myth or fact? It's a myth. There are many studies proving that your body and especially your brain can't get used to sleeping less. Have you noticed that after a few nights of insufficient sleep, you begin to feel groggier during the day? That's your body trying to adjust to not getting enough rest. Long-term sleep deprivation affects your daytime performance, focus, and decision-making. Many grown-ups need 5 or fewer hours of sleep. Can it be true? Well, this one's easy. It's a myth. Experts from the National Sleep Foundation recommend that the average adult sleeps 7 to 9 hours per night. Some people have a genetic mutation thanks to which they wake up refreshed after a short night's sleep, but such people are an exception. 1 in 4 million. The ability to fall asleep in any place and at any time means you're a good sleeper. What do you think? Myth or fact? It's a myth. A good sleeper gets a proper amount of sleep and has a regular sleep schedule. Cats spend 2/3 of their life asleep. Do you believe that? This will probably come as no surprise. It's a fact. How many of the facts and myths did you guess correctly?